Hello, I'm Dan, and welcome to Legion of Everblight vs Circle Orboros 35-point Warmachine battle report. This is the third in our narrative campaign series, and it faces up Lylyth against Baldur. We are playing the two front scenario from the 2015 Steamroller packet. You have a friendly zone which you can dominate for one control point, and an enemy zone that you can control for one and dominate for two. You have to destroy the enemy objective, and that's worth one control point. In Baldur's battle group we have a Wold Watcher, a Wold Guardian, Megalith and a Wold Warden. We also have a Shifting Stones without Stonekeeper and Lord of the Feast. So the idea is here, there's an awful lot of armour for Lylyth to crack, so they can advance up, Baldur will pop his feet, and hopefully they weather the storm from Lylyth and then start dominating the zones. In Lylyth's battle group we have an Angelius, a Ravagore, 3 Shredders, a max unit of Raptors, an Issa Rival and a Shepherd. So today the Raptors are going to have a bit more of a problem because there's no living war beasts. So they're going to use their superior speed to start dominating and threatening zones, potentially go around the back and threaten the Shifting Stones and things like that, while the rest of the war beasts come up and dominate the main zone. Okay, Circle Orboros, turn 1. The Circle forces advance up as quick as they can for walking stones anyway, which isn't particularly fast. Baldur puts up a wall and puts up some buffs, some protection for them, while Lord of the Feast on the top side of the screen there advances up and starts contesting the friendly zone. We thought that we'd use Ikaya and Thagros as the fallen objectives to give a bit of an incentive for the players to get them. Legion of Everblight, turn 1. They advance up much more quickly, much more aggressively. You see the Raptors at the top of the screen there are all over the enemy zone already. And in the bottom half of the screen, the Shredders have all advanced up, the Ravagore. Angelus is lurking somewhere in the middle just to counter-strike wherever is needed. And Lylyth is just contesting the zone down the bottom there. So much more aggressive from the Legion player, and we shall see what happens. On to Circle Orboros, turn 2. The Wold Watcher advances into the friendly zone and puts up stone form to give himself +4 armour. Megalith advances into the enemy zone and is hidden behind a wall that Baldur's put up. Baldur's also used his feet. This is the feet turn, +3 armour to everybody, so making everything much more difficult to kill. He's also got flesh to clay on himself and is in base-to-base contact with the Wold Guardian should Lylyth decide to shoot him. Legion of Everblight, turn 2. So with the shooting phase being effectively nullified by Baldur's feat, the Legion player decides to get up close and personal. Ravagore, Angelius and Shredder all combining onto the poor Megalith and doing quite a substantial amount of damage. About 2/3 of his boxes are out already. Lylyth advances up to put some bit of shooting in but doesn't really get anything done. And the Shredder's there for handy transfers. So the bottom of turn 2 looks like this. The Raptors have gone into the zone and taken out most of the objectives' health points. It's only got 1 left. But it looks like the Circle player has managed to weather the storm and should be able to get in and do some damage now to the Legion beasts. With the Ravagore being in close combat, it doesn't look like Lylyth's feat is going to be particularly effective. So if he can be taken out quickly, then the game could change quite substantially. Exactly what happens. Baldur comes in, attacks the Ravagore, doing quite a bit of damage to him. The Wold Guardian comes in and takes out the poor Shredder. Megalith manages to finish off the Ravagore, and the Shifting Stones have come up just to get into the zone and potential teleporting of either Baldur or Wold Guardian onto Lylyth, which would certainly see the end of her. In the top part of the screen, the Wold Watcher carries on fighting the Raptors. Legion of Everblight, turn 3. With the death of the Ravagore, Lylyth decides enough's enough and starts hiding. She shoots at Baldur but doesn't really do much damage. The Angelius comes in and attacks Baldur and means with his armor piercing attack Baldur has to transfer the damage. The Shredder comes in and takes out the pesky shifting stone to prevent any kind of teleporting assassination runs. And the first points of the game are scored as the Raptors destroy the enemy objective. They've also killed Lord of the Feast, so if they can just kill the World Watcher, then they'll pick up control points in this zone. However, at Armour 21, the World Watcher is no easy target, and because he's not a living war beast, their poison attacks won't work. So they may well have to get up close and personal and destroy them in melee. So at the end of turn 3, the score is Legion of Everblight 1, Circle Ouroboros 0. Okay, Circle Ouroboros, turn 4. The plan this turn was to destroy all of Lylyth's beasts so that she couldn't do any transfers, and also to start contesting the zone a bit more. So part 1 was achieved by killing the Angelus. That was pretty good. But the World Guardian couldn't hit the Shredder. His defense 13 seemed to be too much for him. So he's still alive. The objective has taken 1 point of damage, so Circle Ouroboros has still got no control points. Legion of Everblight, turn 4. At this point in the game, Baldur's lost quite a lot of health thanks to the Devourer Worm tokens he has on him. And Lylyth keeps healing him up. So Lylyth this turn is the prime target. Lylyth, Anissa Rival and the Shredder all combine to destroy Lylyth. Lylyth pops feet and is also able to put a shot onto Baldur, reducing him to 7 health points. So he may well go down in the next turn or so. Circle Ouroboros, turn 5. The Shifting Stones heal Baldur, bringing him back up to 10, and Baldur also removes all the worm tokens as his action. He then attacks the Shredder, killing that. Lylyth now no longer has any war beasts. To make matters worse, the World Guardian comes into the zone, destroys the objective, and is now controlling that zone. So Legion of Everblight have 1 point, Circle Ouroboros 2. Legion of Everblight, turn 5. With most of the forces destroyed and no beasts left to transfer to, Lylyth knows it's potentially now or never. The Shepherd runs in, charges at Baldur and does a substantial amount of damage to him, which has to be transferred, but he only had 1 transfer. Lylyth then takes her chance and shoots twice at him, putting quite a bit of damage onto him, and Nerissa Rival is able to reduce his health to 4. Unfortunately, another point is picked up from Circle Ouroboros. Circle Ouroboros, turn 6. The World Guardian charges Lylyth and is able to reduce her to 3 health points. The Shifting Stones then heal Baldur, bringing him back up to 5, and he also enters the zone. At this point, we're not entirely certain about the domination rules, whether or not having Lylyth in the zone prevents Baldur from dominating, so we assume that it's only controlled and we get 4 points, but it's potential that the Circle Ouroboros have already won at this stage. Legion of Everblight, turn 6. So we play another turn. Anissa Rival comes around and shoots at Baldur, forcing him to transfer. Lylyth then decides to take a shot at Baldur, at which he takes the damage, and then the second shot doesn't do any damage. So at the end of this turn, Circle Ouroboros pick up the 5th and final control point they need and win the game. However, we decided to carry on playing anyway, just for cinematic purposes. So there's Lylyth going in for the kill and failing, unfortunately. And Baldur will then turn around and try and get his revenge. So the game ends with a circle victory. They'd already won on control points, but we decided to play on and go for cast to kill at the end. And Baldur was able to finish off Lylyth. She only had 3 health points left, so it was a relatively easy task to do with all of his fury. But it was all in all a good game. I think the armour skew held by Baldur and his force was too much for Lylyth to handle, and that's something we'll need to address in future reports. I've already got a few ideas of how to change the list, but we shall see. Okay, so how can we improve this list? I think first things first, the Raptors and Anissa Rival have to go, and 3 Shredders is just too many. With those points saved, I can get a second Ravagore, a Naga, and a second Shepherd, leaving me 5 points for a Rake and a Succubus, or 2 Deathstalkers and a Succubus. What do you guys think? If you could let me know in the comments below, that would be much appreciated. I hope you've enjoyed this series of battle reports and look forward to producing some more soon. Bye bye.